Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Mr. and Mrs. As always, my name is Ray McElroy, her Mr.
And I'm Michelle McElroy, his Mrs. And we want to invite you guys to conversate with us today about our blog entitled Inclusive Teamwork, written by none other than my boo, Ray McElroy. And I was hoping that you would share a football story with us to start it off.
Football story?
I do.
I remember a couple of my teammates, when I was playing for the Indianapolis Colts, they were going up against their arch nemesis, the Tom Brady-led New England Patriots. And our team, we just had so much trouble getting past those Patriots. As you know, they're phenomenal. But we got them at home finally, AFC Championship game. We're driving, we got them on the ropes. And Peyton Manning, my teammate, Marvin Harrison, my teammate, Hall of Famers, they love throwing the football. We're deep in our territory, about to score and put the game away. And they're in the huddle trying to decide what's the play that's going to get this done. And Marvin Harrison, who rarely talks, rarely has any feedback, speaks up in the huddle and says, I think we got to run the ball. Now, if you know anything about Marvin Harrison, he never wants to run the ball. He wants to catch it. He wants to take it in himself.
Yeah.
So for him to make that statement was a major statement for him to be like, you know what? It ain't about me. It is about winning the game. And that's what teamwork is all about.
Oh, yeah.
It's about sacrificing yourself. It's about doing what's best for the overall team. It's about the team winning. And so, you know, I was inspired to write this blog because I think there are a lot of parallels between team sports and marriage.
Yeah, I would agree. And then I think about, it's like 11 guys on each side of the ball, right?
You're supposed to know that already.
I do, but they may not know.
Got it.
Come
For the
on.
people out there.
I'm supporting my peeps.
Okay.
So it's 11 guys on each side of the ball.
Say it like you believe it. Yeah, that's right. I like that. I like how you say it.
Anyway, and I just think if everybody don't know what their role is, how this could just look crazy.
That's
you know what I mean? And definitely nobody's winning with that. And it just makes me think about in marriage how important it is that we know what our role is, you know, and how for me early on in life, like prior to marriage, my vision of what a wife's role came from my grandparents because I was growing up in a single parent household with my sibs, you know, and my mom was, you know, the mom and the dad, whereas in my grandparents' household, you know, I had my grandmother and my grandfather, and my grandfather was, you know, the typical breadwinner, and my grandmother was the typical homemaker. And then when I got to college and I started getting in my word and taking faith, you know, to the next level, I again got a very vague idea from scripture on exactly what is the role of a wife. So for me, you know, that was it. I didn't feel like I had a manuscript or anything to define my role. How did you view your role as a husband?
Well, I had a very skewed view of what that looked like. As a husband, you know, I felt like my role was leader. My role was make the major decisions. My role was kind of like your grandfather, you know, the strong, dominant person in the relationship. And so I had to be strong for the family, and I had to be the one to come up with all the ideas on how to lead us forward.
I can see that.
Yeah, and I was so focused really on being a great leader that I wasn't a very good teammate. And I leaned on passages like, you know, husband is the head and the wife needs to submit, and husband, lay down your life for your wife like Christ did for the church. And so all of that stuff was good, but to your point, you know, what does that look like though?
Yeah.
You know, because in every scenario, in every situation, in every relationship, that's going to look differently for every relationship. And so because there wasn't a lot of clarity on that, you know, I kind of went to the, you know, the media's perspective of hero and that, and you know, and quite honestly, we had some headaches in our relationship early on about that. And even one scenario where, we had arm wrestled about who's going to take care of the finances.
Right.
Well, that's what a man does. A man takes care of the money, and it wasn't until we really kind of like, well, you know what, you're really good at numbers, and you have always excelled at that, and coming to the realization that there is no rule, particularly biblically, that says that a woman can't handle the money, and so
not to mention I was a banker,
right, and so I said, I humbled myself. I'm like, no, you can do that. That makes a lot of sense. And you've been running our books ever since.
Yeah. And I just think it's so important for us as couples to recognize that we had some great examples that came before us that we witnessed growing up. Some were in person and some were via culture and media, But the thing is, things have changed so much, and now I think it's an opportunity to be more creative in our marriages and value each other and our gifts that we bring to the table. Like, I remember one of the players did all the cooking for him and his wife.
That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, which was odd at that time. Mm-hmm. But now we see a lot of husbands he's the better cook. And so he provides the meals for the family. So it's important we recognize that in our own personal covenants that we get to make the decision what roles we play, especially if they're agreed upon. Wouldn't you say?
I would say. And the other thing that I will say, in all transparency, I talked about being a bad teammate. Here's what I know about sports. The great teams, and I was on some pretty good teams. AFC Championship teams going towards the Super Bowl. When you were on those type of teams, those guys, as I prefaced earlier, they didn't care who got the glory as long as the team won.
That's good.
I'm gonna say this: being from Chicago, I wasn't a huge Jordan fan.
What?
Growing up.
Blasphemy.
I know it, right?
Oh.
But the reason why I wasn't is because I didn't feel like particularly early.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah, I didn't feel like particularly early in his career, Jordan was a very good teammate. I felt like he was a ball hog.
Ooh.
But unfortunately, even though I had that criticism of Michael Jordan, that's exactly who I was in our relationship.
Ouch.
I was the ball hog. I was the guy that wanted all the glory. I wanted all the credit. And what I didn't realize is I had an ego problem. And so when, and in teams, and in any relationship, when it's about you and not about us, you will lose every single time. You know what that acronym, that's an acronym, right? Ego. E-G-O.
What does it mean?
When you operate in your ego, basically what you're doing is you are edging God out.
Ouch.
So here's a passage, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but acknowledge Him in all your ways. When that happens, He'll direct your path, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I had to make the shift and recognize that, what is the objective? What is the objective?
Oh, it's to win.
To win,
yes.
Right? To win. That's what Will Smith said, right?
Right.
And so if it's all about winning, then who cares who has the bright idea? Who cares who has the most talent in this area or that area?
Yeah.
Bottom line is, we want to be successful. And so if she has the better skill in an area, she needs to be running with that. If I got the idea to move our family forward, then I need to be running with that and bring that to the table. Because at the end of the day, if the marriage is successful, if the marriage wins, we both win.
Yeah, I love that too. Putting our egos down, because oftentimes when we talk about the ego, we talk about the male ego, but women have egos too. I know for me, I had to put my ego down because I'm normally not a competitive person.
Normally. I'm sorry.
You know what? he knows I am normally not competitive. However, when I feel passionately about something,
Lord have mercy.
then I'm competitive because my passion won't let me put it down. And so what happens is now I feel like I've got the better way. I've got the better answer. And as I wrote in one of my posts, love is understanding, even recognizing that there's more than one route to the same destination, right? It's more than one route.
That's true.
To get to the same place. Mm-hmm. And so therefore I had to recognize that, Michelle, you're overdoing it. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're going off the rail over too much. It's okay to allow him to make some decisions, to allow him to do things his way. And in fact, that is a blessing to him. It's helping him exercise his leadership skills and it's valuing his opinion. So I had to learn that. Put that ego down, girlfriend, and submit. It's okay. It's okay. It's called valuing and serving one another. That's what the Bible says, right, babe?
Exactly right. And so that's what teamwork looks like. You know, teamwork is inclusive. Teamwork is us coming together. Teamwork is laying down your pride, your ego, your sense of needing to be in the spotlight for the benefit of the relationship. If the team wins, we win.
Yes. And one of the things that I always tell wives when I speak to wives is this. Listen, if we make decisions together because we value each other's opinions, sometimes that's going to go great, and that's great. But you've already won because you agree. Sometimes it's not going to go well, but that's great because you've already won because you agree. And the premise of that is simply this. We sink, we swim, we sail, we soar. We do it together. That's inclusive teamwork.
Hey, AIM is on the move, everybody. We
AIM
got
in
some
action.
Phenomenal things that are coming up. Babe, why don't you tell our people what we got coming down the pipe?
Yes, so AIM in Action has two things that we wanted to launch in March. One is our hashtag Aim For It Brunch and Learn, where we're going to do just a pop-up brunch and learn where we're getting together with a few couples to just share some insights on marriage. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't charge for that. Okay. However, you do have to pay for your food. The second thing we're doing is we're doing AIM workshops. And what that's going to entail, Ray, is quarterly workshops. Yeah. So you guys can activate your intentional marriage yourself. So you no longer have to wait on that annual conference, and you definitely don't want to wait until you need therapy. Mm-hmm. We want to give you some preventive care, and we want to do it through those workshops. Now, if you're asking yourself, how do I find out about that? This is what you do. You go to the aimmarriages.com website, you scroll down to the bottom of the home page, and you click subscribe. Once you click subscribe, it's going to ask you for your name and your email address. You put that in, you press send, and I got you. You will then get all of our events sent straight to your email.
I want to stress that these things coming up, space is limited, so we need you to register quickly.
Yes.
And reserve your spot. Mm-hmm. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal, and we hope that you're intentional about your relationships, utilizing some of these tools to help take your relationship to the next level. Until the next time, or until we see you again, this is Mr. and Mrs., and I am Ray McElroy, her Mr.
And I'm Michelle McElroy, his Mrs.
You better believe it.